back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We've got some live tournament action coming at you. Game 3 here between ScHyeon and Spades. It is the finals of tonight's Open Arena tournament. Witty's still on the line with me, co-casting, typing away on his extremely loud keyboard as always.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm just kidding. Just having fun with you. Just having fun with you, man.
Dude, this series is unreal. This is the best final. This is the best game I've ever casted ever.
Oh, it's
between
ridiculous.
Anything I've ever done, and couldn't be happier that I'm doing it with you because you're one of my favorite people. I think you're my favorite person to cast with. So, and this between vVvSeoHyeon and the rather unknown player Spades, who was making a believer out of me tonight after that great game. Just had that sixth sense as his opponent was cheesing him, spotted it, and just shut him down with a great pink marine push.
Oh, such smart play. I mean, he's just making great decisions this game. And even in game number 1, Spades had absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, yes, he lost, but you know what? ScHyeon is a beast. Once he's maxed out like that, he just had a great unit composition in game 1. Game number 2, a little bit cheesy, I'd say, from ScHyeon. Gone awry, and Spades took advantage there very, very well. Beautiful play so far, and here we find ourselves in game 3. Now, it's dual site. It is the map choice of ScHyeon. So, are you expecting to see some more cheese this time? Or, I mean, this is a relatively small map. A 1-1-1 all-in tends to be fairly effective on a small map like this.
I would not be surprised if ScHyeon pulled maybe like a build that he saves for a rainy day out of his back pocket. He is that kind of player. He has a variety of builds. He's well-rounded, well-seasoned, very, very comfortable with doing different things on different maps. And I would not be surprised, given the kind of map, like you said, it's very small, he didn't have a specialized build for this matchup, for this particular map. A lot of players at this level of play definitely have specialized tactics going into this, because they know that certain things work and maybe players don't expect them nearly as much or aren't prepared for that kind of push at that time. So we'll see what he has to throw at him.
Yeah, and here we go with Spades. An early scout, he is going to get into his ScHyeon's base. Notice ScHyeon is not really walling off here. He does have his barracks put back, which makes me think that he is going to go for some tech. Another thing that makes me think that is he's tossing down his second gas. Got that down right before the 3-minute mark.
That's incredibly early. Yeah, I think that's definitely a sign of Banshee play. And Spades sees that. He's probably clicked on the one gas that's already up and mining. He saw how much gas was already taken out of there.
Yep. And he tossed down his gas, his second gas, as soon as he scouted it. I mean, that is great reaction there from Spades. He says, okay, I see what's going on. Let's react. Boom. And you see that second gas go down for Spades immediately right after it. I mean, these are great players. Every single turn we see, it's like they know what to do from their scouting information. That's a rare thing.
And I thought Spades was going to leave his SCV over here in this brush to kind of hide it, maybe use it as a spotter for his opponent who maybe would command this Banshee over there that probably be coming out considering how early that gas was. And what Spades is going to do here, he's getting his factory, he's going to get his Raven out. He's just a Raven and a Viking just like he did last game. He realizes that his opponent is probably going for Banshees. If he's going for a Raven of his own, it's not going to make that much of a difference because he can just hard counter it with his own Raven. Right. So Spades, I think, is definitely at the advantage here, considering his opponent has not scouted him yet. And I don't know why ScHyeon scouting so late. A scout going out just before the 5-minute mark in the TvT. I feel like in mirror matchups, the one time you want to scout earlier than normal.
Right, yeah. And I've seen this from ScHyeon before, where when he gets into a mode where he is just going to do a build regardless, he just kind of gets into this deal where he doesn't scout very much. And like he just pokes in, he sees Marines, okay, I'm going to back out here. And so, I mean, ScHyeon, he's basically made his decision. So it makes me think that he is going for a build that's going to require micro. He's going to try and rely on his micro. His starport is about to be complete. We do have a starport for Spades that's not too far behind here.
No. He's going to be totally fine, like I said before. The fact that he's got his starport out, he read his opponent still very well. You can see that starport is going down. A Raven's coming out just like I said. And I kind of think that was the reaction of ScHyeon having been scouted so early. Yeah. I don't think he's expected to scout his opponent, and maybe he's going to try and do some kind of tactical push with that Raven, maybe do an auto turret drop, because there is a lot of dead space behind all the upper base around here. And I think, just behind the green base too, you can kind of see that there is possibility for turret drops. You don't see them that often, but considering how wide this berth is behind the base, total possible option for ScHyeon to do that. And he's getting the Corvid reactor.
That's what I was going to say. He's grabbing that Corvid reactor that does add an additional 25 energy to the starting energy of your Raven, guess what that enables you to do a lot faster?
Point defense drones and auto turrets.
Drones and more auto turrets, much, much faster. So, I mean, he's really going to rely on his Ravens during this game so far, is what it's looking like. And I think that's a great deal. I mean, he's got a great bunch of Marines down here on the low ground. Raven's a smart play here. Can deal with just about anything that comes his way. ScHyeon is going to be putting some tanks together, though. Now, will come down to positioning for ScHyeon. He is moving out here. He's going to have 2 tanks. Siege tech will be complete for this engagement. So, Wendy, I guess the question is do you think that this engagement is going to go well for ScHyeon?
In very well might. If he gets good positioning and he has air control, he only has the 1 Raven, but that does give him vision. And it looks like Spades is getting a medevac, so he will be able to drop and counter this, or maybe just drop right on top of the siege tanks of his opponent. My only concern is he got that Corvid. Oh, he actually canceled the Corvid reactor. I was wondering why he got it before the Raven. When the Raven was already complete, considering the fact, and here goes a siege tank, Spades engaging right away into it. He just keep his own siege tank unseated. It's a very smart play. You have a higher DPS. I think it's ScHyeon being a little bit too preemptive with this push, and Spades is gonna clean this up, no problem. Yeah. Only was just a bunch of Marines, saves both his tanks as well as the medevac and a Raven. And it looks like an auto turret went down, but not gonna matter too much. Tanks are gonna clean it up pretty easily.
Yeah, 2 auto turrets.
And there you go.
Down. And Spades now with double tanks out on the field. ScHyeon going to give this the retry here. At this point, he's kind of stuck. I mean, he can't really...
Yep. Oh, here comes a Banshee. Viking has popped out for Spades, although it is a little misrouting. Now coming over now. Expansion going down from him as well. And does the Raven get picked off for Spades? No, it does not. He only loses a single... does he even lose a tank in that?
No,
I don't think he did.
Too.
Wow, Spades is just so good.
Yeah, and look, I love how he's like, oh, here comes another attack. I'm going to take an expansion. That's usually what goes through my mind.
So good. And there was ScHyeon's expansion of his own, but my God, this Spades guy, he might be better than, he might be my new favorite. Zabro, take a hike. Spades has my number now.
Yeah, I mean, this is phenomenal play. ScHyeon does have a slight advantage right now in his economy, 34 to 32. He's been staying on top of that. And Spades is, he's been enduring the pressure in his home base, so some of the differentials there we don't get to see, but ScHyeon is going for yet another attack, and I don't expect this to go well at all.
No, there's only 1 siege tank here. He's not going to be able to zone units. Spades is going to be able to spread his out, take minimal damage from the siege tank shots, and just be able to repair out back home. Even as a Banshee of his own now. Yep. And the fact that ScHyeon has more workers than his opponent at this point in time is irrelevant because they're only on 1 base. At 25 workers, your base is maxed out on economy. You actually start suffering income losses when you go above 25, 26 workers at the very most.
Right.
Yeah, it actually depends on the map.
That second base out, and Spades already has the second base. Units lost shows that ScHyeon is way the heck behind. And here comes an attack from Spades, and like I say, I expect this to go well for Spades here in game number 3.
Yep, and he's going to lose this medevac, no big deal, but he has, the tank count is much higher than his opponent. He doesn't have siege mode, though, and he's not getting it either, which has me a little bit concerned. I don't know if he's just forgotten it, or he just hasn't found time to get in there. He has the gas for it, which is usually more of a concern than the minerals, but could be a problem. The Spades, you see him in the first game, he fell behind because he was lacking on his upgrades, and if he could forget such a crucial tech upgrade like siege mode, it could be the game for him, and that's worrisome.
Yeah, I agree. And we've noticed that he does favor having his tanks unsieged a lot anyway. He loves that fast attack, the attack speed there when they're unsieged. Let's see what that is, by the way. It is
1.04 versus 3 seconds.
So, I mean, it's pretty fast. It's a lot. It's, 3x faster, so he does a lot more attacks. And that does increase your initial DPS very quickly. So in the first 2 seconds, you've already done, a pretty fair amount of damage. So it's worth it in a lot of respects, especially in these smaller engagements. But once he gets up a little bit higher, we'll see if he is going to grab that siege tech. Looks like he's got it started just now.
Finally getting underway, making me feel a little bit safer about him. I really hate to put so much stock in a player who gets something like siege mode, although you see Bomber do it all the time, and everybody still loves him. But he has such a 6 to 3 tanks right now, and that's huge. And he has a Raven out. He's higher on the Marine count. He has 1 Banshee, although his opponent does have air superiority with the 2 Vikings out. It does not matter that much. He actually has Stim about 50% complete, whereas opponent has doesn't even have either. Has combat shield about 50% done. So I'm definitely gonna have to give the advantage to Spades. Although Sc2is now crawling ahead in supply, and oof, this could be rough, man. This is pretty even. And you can see Spades actually backing out there, just not wanting to engage. He's giving up control of that watchtower. No big deal, though. He does have the other one, so any kind of drops or maybe flanking passes that might be made by his opponent will be scouted out.
Right. Now, Sc2 falling a little bit behind in the economy. Spades has picked it up quite a bit. Probably we're going to see a third base out of these guys, I think, at this point, unless Sc2 goes for a big push here and it flops, is the only thing I think that's going to prevent us from seeing a third go down. But he is going for a little bit of a push here. He loves his ability to micro. He's going to start getting his tanks into a good siege position here, and he's got that air superiority, like you're saying.
And there you go, Spades forward with his Marines, throwing down an auto-turret to at least soak up damage. If you did not know, that actually takes priority over units, which is kind of interesting. And Sin does finish, so he will be able to take out that Banshee. Oh, does it get away? No, it in fact does. And now these tanks are able to rain down on the production facilities of Spades. And Spades is in a bit of trouble right here. He needs to get out of this. He does have the tank cap, but he needs to start leapfrogging them forward. But it's very difficult with those Vikings giving vision.
He cannot afford to lose his starport, which he just did. He did pull a lot of SCVs. This is his go time. He knows he's got to defend this right now. Wendy, do you think he's going to be able to do it here?
He will defend it, but I don't know at what cost. He lost a lot of workers in that. He lost 16 workers. He's now significantly behind by 10 workers. He will be able to rebuild. Does he have a fourth base down? No. And he lost the starport as well as something else, I think. Considering there's an empty tech lab and empty reactor there, so
no, that tech lab was empty to begin with. He just lost the starport there, but yeah, he's got to rebuild that. I mean, he needs his air units at this point. He doesn't have enough, I think, to hold quite yet. We do see Sc2 with a nice little position here. Those tanks are in a pretty nice little spot. He's going to get cleaned out there pretty quick, but Spades is going to try and do some damage. See, he's got to. I feel like he has to counterattack here, and I think he must be feeling the same way. He's starting to move himself across the field here, but Sc2's been buying himself time. You can see him setting up his defenses here. Sc2 is behind in the supply count because his army basically got demolished 2x there. Do you think Spades is going to be able to move forward here soon enough and with enough force to be able to get the job done to even this score up a little bit?
I honestly don't know. On a map like Dual Site, which is really just one big wide open map, there's elevation differences and there's watchtowers, but it's not like Terminus where you could cut the map in half.
Right.
You can't make a siege line across Dual Site. It's just way too big, way too easy to be flanked. And I do like Spade's decision to come up around here. Sc2 is just not in any position to deal with an attack from this side, and that's brilliant. The 6 siege tanks with this to only the 2 of Sc2, and he has 2 more back home, and he has all these Marines. And now look, Spades is going to force a whole bunch of SCVs to be pulled from Sc2, as well as a bunch of Marines going to go down, and this is huge. Spades is getting back into this very easily. Look at the supply. He's double the supply of them right now. This is insane.
He lost back and forth, and Sc2 is in big trouble, I'd say, at this point.
Yeah, he does actually have not that much of a small army, but look at the worker count, man. 52 to 19.
Well, he's going to rely on his third orbital at this point.
And there's the drop going on inside the vein of Spades, though, but it looks like he cleaned it up pretty easily. I think he only lost a few workers in that, if any. He only lost 1. Spades actually killed 31 workers in that attack.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's big. Really big. And so Sc2 probably needs to secure a 4th base or at least a 4th orbital command and start to rely very heavily on the mules. But he is going for another attack here, and I'm not entirely sure that I agree with this at this point, Wendy. I mean, he's moving forward. He's just checking to see if that 3rd has been taken. He sees that it's not. Backing out here, I think, is the right idea, and that's what he's doing. So I think he changed his mind. An attack on the 3rd, I guess, would have been a good idea. Do you agree with that?
Had the 3rd been there, yes, and undefended, which it probably wouldn't have been. There probably would have been at least a siege tank or 2, or at the very least, it would have been a planetary.
Right.
If it was up already. And I don't expect Spades to be that, short-sighted, careless, and it not make the command center and then float it over, defend it, have it morph into the planetary, throw up a few turrets, maybe a siege tank or 2 there, and then not worry about defending it. Because, of course, when you throw up a 3rd in a map like Dual Site, you're not meant to defend it entirely. But Sc2 does have one advantage on his opponent. He does have his 3rd up and down, and he just started to throw down mules there. So
he did scout this medevac cruising over there, so he should be able to get the snipe on this medevac.
Oh, both got Spades.
Yeah, Spades did back out. He knows that his opponent's going to be ready for him there. And guess what? Spades is now going to take this opportunity to move out. Spades has not taken a 3rd base. He believes that he can take this down off 2 bases, and at this point, I'm starting to feel that that's a great possibility. This is a scary push coming out from Spades.
Yeah, there's a lot of Marines on here. Combat Shield is done. They don't have any upgrades, though, for their weapons. ALT-Stracraft does have +1/+1, but there's just so many units here for Spades. I don't think ALT-Stracraft's going to have enough to build it. Even if you were to pull SCVs, and here comes the Marines from behind. They do have stim, they do have Combat Shield, but it's just not enough. Spades just has too many tanks and too many Marines to deal with, as well as medevac support. And it's just looking very grim for ALT-Stracraft. It's 47 to 27 Marines, my friend.
Yeah.
And last time I checked, Marines are pretty good when there's more of them.
You'd be correct there. I mean, that is for sure. Spades with this huge siege liner, siege clump, I guess is what you'd call it, blasting away. ALT-Stracraft going to have to evac these factories and barracks there, get them out of the way, trying to cut his losses as quickly as he can. And now we're going to see an attack on the third from Spades, and I love this play from him.
Yeah, look at that. That's such a significant force. 4 more tanks, at least 20 more Marines in that pack. Yep. That is just so smart out of him. Realizes that he has the opponent to contain there. And ALT-Stracraft is going to try and do that, but this is the problem. If he goes and tries and pulls this attack away from his third, he runs into the problem of this main being pushed by an elevator drop, and I just don't know. And there's actually that drop there from Spades, who actually remembers that it's there, and a very smart decision, goes ahead and drops that as well, and is able to clean up that, and subsequently going to take the third, or at least force it away, and that's what he does. Wow.
Beautifully done. Spades definitely in control of this matchup right now. ALT-Stracraft on his back foot for the second game in a row here. We'll see how he's going to continue playing here. Definitely never going to, you'll never see ALT-Stracraft GG preemptively. That's another thing I love about him, is that he just loves to play this game, and you gotta love guys who love to play. And he so far, there he goes. But I mean,
but there goes his early GG. But I think you knew as well as we did that.
Well, I was actually about to say, but I was going to say that even at this point, it wouldn't be an early GG if he did. At this point, I think that the game has gone to Spades. You do see that he's 2x the supply, 3 bases. Yeah, I mean, it's game over. Spades has just got it won, and when ALT-Stracraft knows when to cut it loose, turn that fish loose, and we'll be going into game number 4. We'll be ALT-Stracraft's map pick again. What do you think, man?